I'm joined here by a couple of people who between them have, I think, at the last count, 60 years experience of politics and analysing politics in Iowa, Diane Bystrom and Stefan Schmidt. First of all, are you surprised at all about the margin that's being predicted for Barack Obama?
Well, not really. Again, you mentioned the Iowa poll, and it's basically very accurate, and so I think we're within really what that poll predicted. Some of the exit polling tonight showed it a lot closer, but at the end, as Steph and I were talking about, the polls, despite all the criticism, the polling has been pretty accurate, not only in Iowa, but across the country.
And Stefan, you were just pointing something out that we hadn't heard, that you're hearing that turnout this year was higher even than in 2008, when we know it was really big.
Well, that's remarkable because there was a lot of buzz about no enthusiasm this year, and the Democrats really are not geared up to vote for Obama, and the Republicans are not so excited about Romney. But it looks like in Iowa there has been a tremendous amount of turnout. They're running out of ballots in a lot of polling places tonight, and so that's really an extraordinary story. It shows that this year, very intense political campaign right down to the line.
Let's just look at some of the breakdown in terms of the issues that people were concerned about. No surprise, the economy, 57% had that top of the list. I guess one thing that's interesting in Iowa, though, is that 34% of people here, according to the exit poll, said that they felt that the economy was getting worse. 70% said that the economy was not so good. And yet, in Iowa, you've been pretty much insulated from some of the excesses of the worst excesses of the recession.
Yeah. Well, Steph and I were talking about that earlier, and we really think that Iowans kind of mimic what the national dialogue is, and so nationally everybody's talking about how bad the economy is, and so we think it's bad here too. But actually, as you pointed out, the economy in Iowa is actually pretty robust compared to the rest of the country.
Well, that's right. I mean, Iowa has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. And, of course, the governor, who is a Republican, takes credit for it. But apparently voters tonight are also saying that President Obama deserves some credit if, in fact, it turns out, that he wins the election the way we think. So, voters are pretty smart. They know the economy is bad, but they also know that most of them in Iowa are doing better than others in the country, and they're giving apparently the president some bonus points for that.
Although, interestingly, according to the exit poll, maybe it wasn't the economy that did it for Obama, because we're told that people were tied on who was the best man for the job on the economy, 48 to 48.
But actually that's bad news for Mitt Romney, because he centralized his whole campaign around that. And so Obama, with the numbers that he had, and there's still a high employment rate in this country, unemployment rate at 7.9%. And so that's really high compared to other, incumbent presidents. And so the fact that Obama, that was kind of a negative for him. The fact that he's polling just as even with Romney, actually to me is bad news for Mitt Romney.